just decided to pop the belt off.
Good job.
What's up, you guys? Randy Shaw back here with another 3000 GT video.
Today we are doing a little bit of work on the Mitsubishi. Ever since I replaced the alternator, I've had some belt and pulley issues. I've had belts that have torn apart. I've had pulleys that have been chirping. I had a belt that popped off. My car just decided to pop the belt off. I replaced the idler pulley with a non-OEM unit, and that was worse. I replaced it with an OEM unit, which I have in right now. Made it a little bit better, but it's still not perfectly quiet. It's still a little bit of noise. And so today I've been looking at it, trying to figure out what's going on. One issue that these engines sometimes have is the crank pulley. It has a harmonic balancing element, so it's got rubber in it. And so sometimes they will actually separate from the pulley, and you will have the pulley basically not moving properly. So very dangerous, not good for the engine. So one of the things you do is you put some markings on the pulley, and you want to make sure that there's been no difference or movement between the inner and the outer pulley. If you can see in between, these are a little bit of pieces of rubber. Over time they're going to dry up, get rotted, and then the pulley is basically going to disassemble. It can be catastrophic for the engine, so that is something that you want to be proactive about. That is why you see these white markings on my pulley. I had put these on a couple years ago, actually, and wanted to have a reference so that if this was going bad and that chirping or belt noises was because of this pulley, we were able to figure that out instead of chasing down the drive pulleys for the alternator, AC, and whatnot. So I came in here, first thing I want to do is take a look at this, and these are not the cleanest markings, but these are showing me that this is not having any movement. So that's good sign. I do want to order one of these and get this replaced sooner than later because it is old. I mean, the car is over 30 years old now. So now I've moved my focus over to the idler pulley and the tension. After looking at the assembly over here, it looked like the belt was kind of on the end of the idler pulley. It was kind of like moving outward a little bit. Not to the point where it was falling off, but I wonder if that was just being a little bit misaligned. The other thing that it could be is when I did the alternator, when I put the alternator back in, it could possibly be misaligned by a couple degrees or something like that, which is causing the belt to not align perfectly with the rest of the assembly and pulleys. So those are the two things I'm looking at now, and currently I have the belt loosened, tension is loosened, and I pushed the belt further back onto the idler pulley. I also try to tighten down the idler pulley more to make sure it is fully installed. It couldn't get it to move any further than it is. So pushing the belt back towards the middle, and then I'm going to tension the belt again, and we're going to give it a shot, see if it works. Lift and tick, that's normal. Belts sound pretty good. Let me rev it a little bit. Sounds pretty good. There's that ticking noise, but that's the lifters. Just might have needed a proper tension and realignment on that pulley. I'll give an update later on when it comes back. So I retensioned the belt. Sounds like it's okay. However, I can visibly see that the belt has definitely traveled to the outer edge of the idler pulley, which leads me to suspect that the alternator needs to be readjusted. So that's kind of what I was thinking it might be. When I replaced the alternator, I only had these type of issues after that. And I did some research, and you could technically, the way this is mounted, just be slightly out of line. And I think that's what's happening here, because where the belt connects to the alternator right there, it's hard to see from this angle, but it puts it onto the edge of the pulley, puts it on the outer edge. And so I think it just starts it off a little bit off track. And you can kind of see in the belt there, there's a little bit of wear on the outer side, like that. And that's because I believe it's riding on the outer part of the pulley there. And if you look on the very inside part of the pulley, it's not worn very much. So that's going to be the next thing that I work towards, and hopefully that resolves it. Okay, so I have the 4 bolts loosened for the alternator bracket. 1, 2, under here, these 2. And I'm going to try to see if I can kind of shimmy the alternator a little bit that direction. Just going to give it a couple taps with like a rubber mallet and the back side of a hammer to try to shift it a little bit. Let's see if it works out. Sounds better for now, but it's not under load, so I'm not really going to know until I start driving the car around. It's hard for me to tell, but it looks like the belt could be tightened more. But I'm going to try it as it is now, because I think I had it over tightened before. Alright, let's go from here. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let the car run for a couple minutes and give it a little rev. Makes that noise. Try to her up a little bit. So that little chirp sound is still here. I've tensioned it like 3 times. Tried to realign the alternator. I can't really move it much more than it already is. And what did move wasn't major at all. Really not sure what else to do right now. So I'm probably gonna consult some help. Which is where you guys come in. If you happen to know where my issue might be, please let me know. And I could really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments below. No, I have a hunch on what might be the actual issue, and I think it has to do with the remanufactured alternator that I got. So I'm going to look into that and check back with you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Good job.